When my grandfather closed his coffee shop, it gave me the opportunity to fulfill my dream of owning my own cafe. I was entrusted with my beloved grandfather's shop. Just that alone turned on my motivation switch and ignited my determination. My husband wanted me to remain a stay-at-home mom. He was against running the cafe until the end, but he agreed because having some extra money would be good for our kids' education. However, once I started, I realized that running a business wasn't easy and I came to appreciate my grandfather's greatness even more. I used social media to attract customers, visited popular cafes to incorporate trends, attended seminars hosted by major companies to learn new skills and knowledge, and after 3 years, the results finally blossomed. We started getting featured on social media and local TV, and the cafe was always full regardless of the day. The new veggie-packed lunch menu became a hit with health-conscious young people and seniors, and now we've grown our staff and become a popular cafe. My grandfather would visit almost every day. I realized it was perfect for his daily coffee time. My MIL also visited a few times a month. Each time, I would hear them say things like, "You should change the interior a bit more," or, "Let's reduce the staff," but I didn't pay much attention, thinking they were just playing manager, and I focused on serving customers as usual. However, their actions escalated over time, and they eventually barged into the kitchen. The staff was surprised and told them, "Excuse me, but this area is off limits to non-staff," to which they responded, "Excuse me, but we're part of the business," and didn't back down. In the end, I agreed to let them watch the cooking process from the corner as long as they didn't get in the way. However, they kept interfering with the cooking staff, so I used the busyness as an excuse to send them home. The staff commented that their attitude was like a boss talking to subordinates. I thought my MIL and SAL considered themselves part of the business, because they were family, but their behavior was overstepping boundaries, so I decided to talk to my husband about it that night. When I got home, my daughters Emily and Jane had already finished the housework, and I started preparing dinner. I could hear the sound of games coming from my husband's room. My husband, who comes home on time every day, goes straight to his room to play games. I sighed, thinking I would have probably divorced him if it weren't for our daughters, and quietly opened the door to his room. "It's been a long day. I'll start making dinner now."
Yeah,
What does he mean by
yeah.
I've gotten used to his unresponsive answers, wondering if he's even listening. I closed the door, thinking it was useless to say anything now, and went back to preparing the stew for dinner. The aroma of simmering vegetables and meat filled the kitchen, a stark contrast to the cold atmosphere in my husband's room. "Mom, welcome back home." It seems Emily came back from playing outside, and shortly after, Jane also returned. Their cheerful voices brought warmth to the house, a welcome change from the earlier silence. "I'm home." "Welcome back, both of you. I'm sorry I always rely on you two to do the housework." It made my heart hurt to have my 2 elementary school daughters give up time with their friends to do housework. But they told me it's only natural to help each other. Their maturity and understanding touched my heart, making me feel both proud and guilty. Their words made me want to expand the cafe and spend more time at home. I decided to focus solely on managing the business. My children have always been a great support. They are precious to me. "I'm just so grateful," I thought with a smile, glancing at the den. The contrast between my daughter's attitudes and my husband's indifference was stark. "Dad doesn't do anything even when he's home." Emily looked at her father with exasperation. Her young face showed a wisdom beyond her years, recognizing the imbalance in our family dynamic. "Honestly, I earn more than he does. But my husband values his male pride. Sometimes, I think about tearing down that pride." The weight of unsaid words hung heavy in the air. He started saying things like, "The cafe isn't in the red because of my earnings," implying that both the household and the business relied on his salary. "Oh, is that so?" Maybe I should have argued back, because his statement later escalated into a big issue. The seeds of discord were already sown, though I didn't realize it at the time. In the end, I couldn't talk to him that day because he had a game event. His priorities were clear, and they didn't include family or communication. The next day, when I entered the cafe, it was noisy. The usual calm morning atmosphere was disrupted by raised voices. Hearing the sound of an argument, I hurried towards the source, thinking there might be trouble. My heart raced as I approached, fearing what I might find. "So, please don't mess with things without permission." His usually calm voice was strained, a clear sign of the tension in the room. "From now on, we are the bosses, so if you don't follow our instructions, you'll be fired." My MIL's shrill voice cut through the air, dripping with unearned authority. I had a bad feeling when I recognized those voices, and I was right. There were my MIL and NCL arguing with Mr. Johnson, the hall leader. The scene before me was chaotic, with staff huddled in corners and customers looking on in confusion. John's mother and sister, what are you doing?" Some of the student part-timers started crying, seemingly relieved by my arrival. Their young faces were streaked with tears, a sight that broke my heart. Mr. Johnson, with an angry look, stepped forward before my MIL and SIL could say anything. His usually composed demeanor was replaced by barely contained fury. "Manager, these people are saying they've received the rights to this cafe." They suddenly showed up and started demanding changes to the table arrangements and even threatened to fire the part-timers to reduce labor costs. His words tumbled out in a rush, painting a picture of chaos and overreach. I haven't heard anything about that. I was appalled by the situation and demanded to know what was going on. My voice was steady, but inside, I was a whirlwind of confusion and anger. My MIL and NCL started laughing and then suddenly took on a condescending attitude and began talking. Their laughter was cold, sending chills down my spine. "What, you haven't heard anything from John?" Her tone was mocking, as if she knew something I didn't. "This cafe is avoiding losses because of John's salary, right? John told us that since the cafe is thriving now, it can't grow any further under your management, so he wants to hand it over to us." Her words hung in the air, each one a blow to my heart and my pride. Everyone present wanted to refute their baseless claims, but I stopped them. The tension in the room was palpable, with staff and customers alike holding their breath. It was pointless to tell them the truth because they would believe whatever John said. What angered me more was why John was trying to hand over my cafe without my consent. The betrayal cut deep, a wound that would not easily heal. In any case, I needed to confirm the facts with him, so I told the staff to continue with the opening preparations and headed home where John would still be since he starts work at 10. "This is all news to me, so let's talk about it with John as well." My voice was calm, but inside, I was seething with anger and hurt. They quietly followed me after I said that. Their sudden compliance was unsettling, a stark contrast to their earlier bravado. On the way, I ran into my grandfather, who asked about the cafe. I asked him to stand in as the manager for a while. His familiar presence was comforting amidst the chaos of the morning. Sensing something from my expression, my grandfather agreed without asking any questions. His understanding and support were a balm to my troubled soul. When I got home, John was casually eating bread and watching TV. The normalcy of the scene felt like a mockery of the turmoil I was experiencing. He wasn't surprised to see us and even seemed happy about his mother and sister visiting. His nonchalance only fueled my anger further. "John, that cafe is mine. No matter how much they're family, you can't just decide to give it to them." My words came out sharper than intended, years of frustration finally boiling over. John looked momentarily surprised at my rare display of anger, but then he sighed deeply and put his bread down on the plate. "Look, this is why I was against it. It's amazing that you've made the cafe so successful, but without my salary, we can't sustain our lifestyle or the cafe. Compared to that, my mom and sister have been studying to run a cafe for a long time. If we let them take over, the cafe can grow, and you can go back to being a housewife. It's a win-win." His words were like a slap in the face, dismissing all my hard work and success. His mother nodded emphatically in agreement. Her smug expression only added fuel to the fire of my anger. My sister-in-law was looking through our fridge without permission. Her casual invasion of our privacy was the last straw. When did I ever use your salary for the cafe? I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm, and faced him. My hands were shaking, but I clenched them into fists, determined to stand my ground. My account balance is always off right before payday. I thought you were in trouble, so I didn't mention it, but you're spending too much. That's probably because he can't manage his money properly. His accusation was baseless, a projection of his own financial irresponsibility. John, you're also into gambling, so you don't realize how much you're spending. The words came out before I could stop them, years of pent-up frustration finally finding release. In fact, since I started working, John has been living the most comfortably. He used to work overtime but now comes home on time and spends his days off at the casino or racetrack, barely being home. The hypocrisy of his accusations was staggering. He doesn't do any housework, spending his free time on weekdays playing games. New game consoles and software kept increasing as if money were flowing like water. It's shocking that he doesn't even realize how distorted his sense of money is. The realization of how far we had drifted apart hit me like a tidal wave. Don't you feel bad for your hardworking husband? My MIL, seemingly desperate to get the cafe, interrupted our conversation. Her words were like salt on an open wound, twisting the knife of betrayal even deeper. Besides, that cafe is a precious place I inherited from my grandfather. John has no right to do whatever he wants with it. My voice was firm, drawing strength from the memory of my grandfather's hard work. Even if we were to hand over the cafe, it's in my name. The decision is mine to make. When I said that firmly, John laughed mockingly and said, "If you don't want to hand it over to my mom and sister that badly, then we should get a divorce. Anyway, I'm the one providing the money. It'd be easy to hire a professional and take it from you." His cruel words hung in the air, a final nail in the coffin of our marriage. I had been waiting for those words. A strange calm settled over me, as if I had been preparing for this moment all along. Fine. Let's get a divorce. He must have thought I would cry and beg. But years of disappointment had steeled me for this moment. John raised an eyebrow in surprise, but when I handed him the completed divorce papers I had prepared long ago, he mockingly signed them, thinking I would struggle to live on my own. His overconfidence would be his downfall. I took the papers and said, "I'll file these. I'll leave after I finish moving my things, and then return to the cafe." As I walked out, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The cafe was bustling even though it had just opened. The familiar sounds and smells welcomed me back, a stark contrast to the tension at home. Thanks to keeping the morning menu from my grandfather's time, local seniors found it easy to visit. I smiled as I looked around the crowded cafe, filled with people of all ages. The sight of happy customers reinforced my resolve to protect this place. "Manager, are you okay?" Mr. Johnson, who was clearing the dishes, came over looking worried. His concern touched me, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this fight. Behind him, the part-timers were eavesdropping. Their worried faces showed how much they cared about the cafe, but also about me. "I'm fine. I won't let anyone take this cafe. You can all rest assured. You are all valuable members of this cafe, and I won't let you go easily." My voice was stronger than I felt, drawing strength from the support around me. Hearing this, everyone returned to their stations, looking relieved. The atmosphere in the cafe lightened, as if a cloud had been lifted. My grandfather came in just as I was leaving, wearing an apron and holding a freshly brewed coffee with a lively expression. His familiar presence was comforting, a reminder of why I started this journey. "Grandpa, I'm going to divorce John." There was no cloudiness in my expression when I said it, and my grandfather replied, "I see," and took a sip of his coffee. His calm acceptance gave me the strength I needed to face the future. It had been a while since I'd had my grandfather's coffee. As I savored the first sip, nostalgic memories flooded back. This never-changing taste. And then, ideas for the new cafe came to mind. The familiar flavor sparked a wave of creativity, reigniting my passion for the business. When I excitedly talked to my grandfather about it, he joined in with enthusiasm. His eyes lit up as we discussed new possibilities, reminding me of the joy that brought us together in this venture. I'll prove that my choice was not wrong. With renewed determination, I set about planning for the future. A few days after filing the divorce papers, I moved back to my parents' house with my daughters. The process was bittersweet, but the support of my family made it easier. I won custody due to my income, and with my daughters' consent, I was able to take them with me. Their understanding and maturity continued to amaze me. I still can't forget the look on John's face at that moment. His shock and disbelief were evident, as if he couldn't comprehend that I had outgrown his control. John's chaotic lifestyle and poor money management didn't change. He continued living the same way, lost big in gambling, declared bankruptcy, and is now deeply regretting his foolish actions. The consequences of his choices came swiftly and mercilessly. My MIL and SIL were given a short-term opportunity to manage a friend's store overseas, and they were excited. Their overconfidence was palpable as they embarked on their new venture. However, their online-only knowledge wasn't enough to run the business, and they ended up making many employees quit and ultimately closed the store. Their failure was a stark reminder of the value of practical experience. I heard through the grapevine that the returning friend is now suing them for damages. The repercussions of their actions were far-reaching and severe. As for the cafe, since that day, my grandfather wanted to stand behind the counter again, so Mr. Johnson became the manager. The change brought new energy to the cafe, blending experience with fresh ideas. My grandfather is the store supervisor and also works at the counter. His presence adds a touch of nostalgia that our regular customers love. I'm working hard to expand the business and bring my grandfather's coffee to the world. Each day brings new challenges and opportunities, but I face them with renewed vigor. Of course, with more work from home, I'm also enjoying more time with my daughters. The balance I've found between work and family life is something I never thought possible before. Our new life, though different from what I had imagined, is filled with joy and purpose. The cafe continues to thrive, a testament to the power of perseverance and passion. As I look to the future, I'm filled with hope and excitement for what's to come.